Hello friends, welcome back to IEN Facts Canada. My name is Anne, a registered nurse here in Canada. I hope you are all doing great. If it's your first time here, you are in the right space. Feel much welcome. I really appreciate you. And just to bring you up to speed, I give information related to internationally educated nurses registration here in Canada, immigration pathways or programs and updates, as well as job opportunities as they happen here in Canada. That being said, today I bring you a new pilot program, which is a pathway to permanent residence. And as I have always said, pilot programs, they are time limited, they are short-term programs, and therefore I urge you to take your chances when such opportunities present at your door. Let's learn more. The new pilot program is known as the Critical Construction Worker Pilot. Okay, the Critical Construction Worker Pilot, and it's a provincial oriented program, which means it's not available in all the provinces. It's only available in the province of Nova Scotia. Okay, and this program is aimed at helping the employers to hire and to retain workers with the skills which are needed in the province. All right, it also enables the employers to recruit for the hard to fill positions whereby they have not been able to find a Canadian citizen or a permanent resident to fill those positions, and therefore the government allows them to outsource for foreign workers to fill those positions. Not everyone can apply for this pilot program, and they have been able to give a list of the qualifying criteria and also a list of candidates who cannot apply for this program. And we are going to go ahead and look at the qualifying criteria, which will help you to know whether you qualify to apply for this pathway. All right, so number one, you must be at least 21 to 55 years of age. You should have a high school diploma or a proof that you have completed a construction specific industry training program. All right, you must also have a proof of immigration status in the country where you are currently living. That means if you're out of your home country, you should be able to show a proof that in whichever country you are in, you have a legal status there. So if you're still in your home country, then you should be able to have your national identification card or a passport. All right, that's just to prove your citizenship in that country. Okay, you must have at least a 1 year of experience, and that is 12 months of completed work in the last or within the last 5 years, and that is a minimum of 1,560 hours. All right, the other criteria is that you intend to live in Nova Scotia and your job will be located in Nova Scotia, and your occupation must be in the list of approved NOC, that is the National Occupation Codes. Okay, and the importance of National Occupation Codes, it just helps you to know or to determine your language ability, because they are different. So we have tier 0 to tier 5, and they have a different language ability for each tier. So for tier 0 to tier 3, they require a language ability of Canadian language benchmark of 5, whereas Tier 4 and 5, they require a Canadian language benchmark of 4. Okay, so that's the difference. And I'm going to give you the list of the qualifying job that are listed for this pilot program. All right. Finally, you must have been offered a full-time job in Nova Scotia, and that means that your full-time job it doesn't have an end date. Okay, so you'll be able to work a minimum of 30 hours in a week all year round. All right, so those are the qualifying criteria for this pathway. There is also a list of people who should not apply for this program, and here is the list of the candidates who should not apply for this program. So if you have been found to have committed a misrepresentation in relation to immigration application in the last 5 years, it's a no for you. If you're currently living in a country in which you are not legally allowed to live, it's a no. If you have received a nomination or endorsement in the Atlantic Immigration Program within the last 12 months, then you should not apply for this program. If you are in Canada as part of the live-in caregiver program, you're also not qualified to apply for this program. If you have applied to immigrate to Canada on a compassionate ground or humanitarian grounds, or to claim a refugee status, then you should not apply. If you have received a removal order from the IRCC or the Canada Border Services Agency, then you should not apply. If you have applied for a refugee status in Canada and you have been refused, then you should not apply for this program. All right? So if you are currently studying in a post-secondary institution here in Canada, then you should not apply. If you are self-employed, it's a no. If you have received a scholarship or an award that requires you to return to your home country upon graduation and you have not yet done so, you should not apply for this program. Okay, so if you plan to start a business or to become self-employed, then you should not apply for this program. All right, so now you can be able to know where you fall into and whether you can be able to apply or not. Okay, so we are going to go ahead and check the list of the occupations which are allowed to apply for this program. As the name of the pilot program states, the occupations that are listed below are in line to that pilot program. Okay, so construction managers, that is one of them. Home building and renovation managers, contractors and supervisors, electrical trades and telecommunication occupations, contractors and supervisors, other trades, installers, repairers and servicers, contractors and servicers, mechanic trades, welders and related machine operators, electricians, except industrial and power system. I hope the people in those occupations understand those specific jobs. Industrial electricians, carpenters, bricklayers, heavy duty equipment mechanics, heating, refrigeration and air conditioning mechanics, crane operators, concrete finishers, plasterers, drywall installers and finishers and lathers, roofers and shinglers, residential and commercial installers and servicers, heavy equipment operators, material handlers, construction trades helpers and laborers, other trade helpers and laborers. Okay, so if you are under those occupations, then you qualify to apply for this pilot program. All right, amongst the list of occupations, there are those occupations that may be or might require license or certificates, and if you are in one of those occupations that I have mentioned and your occupation requires a license or a certificate, then you should be able to find out before you apply so that you can be able to get that license before you put up your application. All right, if you meet all those qualification criteria, then you can go ahead and gather the document that you need for this application. And we're going to look at all the documents that you require, and remember that your documents must be in English or in French. So if you need to translate your documents, then do so before you apply. Okay, so number one, you're going to need documents related to your job, and that is your job offer document. You're also going to prepare your work experience document, and that means you require a reference letter from your employers, and that letter should be written on the company's letterhead and also sealed with the company's seal. All right, or stamped with the company's official seal. And that letter should include your supervisor's signature or a responsible officer. I should have a specific period of time that you worked in that company. It should have the titles that you held while working in that company. It should have the amount of time that you worked in that company or in that job or in that title, your main duties in that title, your annual salaries plus benefits, and also the hours you worked per week, and also the hours you worked in total for each job. So that's the reference letter to prove your work experience. Okay, so the other thing is document related to your education or training, and as I mentioned earlier, you require a high school diploma, or if your work requires a certificate or a license, then you should be able to show proof of that, and therefore you're going to have copies of your licenses or your certificate that is required for that job, and a copy of your high school diploma. Okay, then you're going to have your documents related to your ability to communicate either in English or French. Here we have the National Occupation Code Tier 0 to 3, and these people, they require a document that can prove that they can be able to communicate in English, and if they are able to write any English test, they require a benchmark of 5, or if they are able to provide educational transcript that prove that their education was done in English or in French, then they can use their transcript as a proof of their ability in either of the language. Okay, They can also provide their employment history and references. If it shows that they worked in an English or French oriented job, then they can also be able to give that as a proof of their language ability. All right, so they have given different language tests that you can be able to take. You can take IELTS, you can take CELPIP, that is the Canadian English Language Proficiency Index program, and that will be general. Okay, so it's not academic, it's general. They can also do TEF, or they can do the TCF, that is for French. Okay, so if you're a French person, then those are the two tests that you can be able to take for your language ability. For those people who are in tier 4 and 5, those are people who just require their high school diploma, or they do not require any formal education, or they have undergone an on-job training. Those are the people in tier 4 and 5, and they require a language benchmark of 4. Okay, so they can write IELTS, they can write CELPIP, they can write TEF or TCF for French. Other documents that you require: passports, that's your identification document, and if you have a family, if you have a wife, a husband, children, then you require their passports. If you're married, you require a marriage certificate or a divorce, you know. And if you have children that you have adopted, you require the adoption letters. If you have changed your name, you're gonna require the change of name document. And also for your children, you're going to provide copies of their birth certificates. You require documents that are related to your immigration status. Okay, so let's say if you're in Canada and you want to apply for this program, you must be able to prove that you are in Canada legally, or your status in Canada is legal. Whichever status that you have, if at all it's not under the candidate who should not apply, then you should be able to prove that you have a legal immigration status in Canada. If you're living in any other country from your home country, then you should also be able to prove that you're in that country legally. All right, once you have all the documents that are needed, you can go ahead and apply for the critical construction worker pilot through the Government of Nova Scotia at novascotia.ca/ENSNP. Okay, and submit your application. I'm going to leave the link in the description box for you. And once you apply, you're going to be nominated by Nova Scotia, and then you can be able to apply for your permanent residence through IRCC. And as you are waiting for your permanent residency, if your employer requires you to immigrate ASAP, then they can be able to give you another letter whereby you can apply for a work permit, and then you can move with a working visa. And therefore you can be able to start your work earliest possible as you wait for your permanent residence. Okay, so I'm going to leave you all the links that you require for you to visit the website and be able to learn more about this pilot program. That brings us to the end of this video. If you have any question, you can go ahead and drop it in the comment section. You can also comment if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, and until next time, survive.